the symbolic meaning of eating Jesus Christ's flesh and drinking his blood. In the Bible, Jesus Christ uses the symbolism of eating his flesh and drinking his blood to describe the intimate and personal relationship he desires with his followers. This symbolism is rooted in the Jewish tradition of sacrifice and communion. In John 6:53-56, Jesus says, "So Jesus said to them, 'Truly, truly, I say to you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whoever feeds on my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him up on the last day. For my flesh is true food, and my blood is true drink.'" This passage is often misunderstood as promoting cannibalism or vampirism. However, in the context of Jewish tradition, eating the flesh and drinking the blood of a sacrifice symbolized participation in the covenant and communion with God. There are some superficial similarities between the biblical symbolism of eating Jesus' flesh and drinking his blood and vampire folklore. Both involve the consumption of blood and flesh, which can be seen as taboo or unnatural. However, the motivations and meanings behind these actions are vastly different. Vampirism in folklore is often associated with immortality, power, and predation. In contrast, the biblical symbolism is about communion, sacrifice, and redemption. To clarify, the biblical symbolism of eating Jesus' flesh and drinking his blood is not about cannibalism or vampirism, physical consumption of human flesh or blood, immortality or power through consumption, predation or harm towards others. Rather, it is about spiritual communion and participation in the covenant, symbolic representation of sacrifice and redemption, intimate and personal relationship with Jesus Christ, spiritual nourishment, and eternal life through faith. In conclusion, while there may be superficial similarities between the biblical symbolism of eating Jesus' flesh and drinking his blood and vampire folklore, the meanings and motivations behind these actions are vastly different. It is essential to understand the biblical context and symbolism to avoid misinterpretation and appreciate the deeper spiritual significance.